Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phil's Place. I have a great guest here who's appearing on this episode. His name is Sean Gibson. He is a great grandson of the great Hall of Famer Josh Gibson, who played for the Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords in the Negro Leagues. And Sean is the executive director of the Josh Gibson Foundation. Sean, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, Phil. Thanks for having me, man. It's a great talk.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Yeah, for sure. So, if you want to talk a little bit about the foundation and the history of the foundation and some of the things that are taking place today and in the future.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I'm the great grandson of Josh Gibson, and
Hmm.
I run the Josh Gibson Foundation as
Hmm.
the executive director here in Pittsburgh. The foundation was actually started with my grandfather, Josh Gibson Jr. He was the one who, wanted somehow to keep his father's legacy alive, and he felt the best way to do that was creating a foundation to only not celebrate his father, but all the other great Negro League Baseball players here in the city of Pittsburgh. And of
Absolutely.
course, the two great teams that we had here with the Crawfords and the Grays. And so I've been involved with the foundation since over 20 years now. We serve over 300 inner city youth in the city of Pittsburgh. We also are partner in the Pittsburgh Public Schools,
Hmm.
the Pittsburgh Parks and Recs, Point Park University, we have programs with. So it's been exciting to lead this journey and also to protect Josh Gibson's brand. Our family, as well as the foundation, is big on his brand. And those are the things that we want to focus on is how to focus on his brand and make it clean and healthy for people to understand not just the baseball side of Josh Gibson, but also the person. You know,
Right.
some people may or may not know that Josh was a single parent.
Hmm.
And my great grandmother, his wife, had given birth to their children, the
Wow.
twins.
Okay.
And so the twins were a boy girl twin, and they were named after the parents. So it was Josh Jr. and Helen. My grandmother died August the 12th of 1930, and the twins were born August the 11th of 1930. And so we don't even know if she even had a chance to even see her children before she passed away. And so when you talk about Josh Gibson's baseball career, I always tell people there was almost not a Josh Gibson. There may have not have been a Josh Gibson because at that time he had to make a decision either to stay home and raise his family or to continue his career in baseball. And he was blessed to have some great in-laws. Tavia and Becky, my great grandmother's sisters, raised the twins while he continued his baseball career. And so,
Okay.
we just want to keep the legacy going through the foundation.
I never knew that story, Sean. Never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of
Okay.
people don't know that. I think because so many people are just focused on the baseball career of Josh
Yeah.
Gibson. But as we all know, any athlete has a personal career as well, and that's a family
Absolutely.
and everything else that he does behind the scenes. And those are some of the stories I think people understand that what Josh had to go through. And then not just losing his wife. I mean, he was playing the times where it wasn't great for African Americans.
Right.
So dealing with the racism, the death threats, and trying to play the game of baseball. And here you are, he's 19 years old, a widower, and trying to survive and take care of, trying to play a game to support his family. So I tell people all the time in my family, man, don't complain about nothing what our great grandfather went through.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So you talked about, serving the youth and the partnerships that you have with the city schools and with Point Park. So this is going to lead into what was it. It's not a breaking news thing right now, but it's still hot news. The center received a $2 million grant from Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, yeah. So we're very excited about our new project that's coming up, which is called the Josh Gibson Champions Club
Hmm.
Dick Sports Matter Center. And so that will be located at the old Boys and Girls Club site in McKees Rocks, which is not too far from where me and you grew up at. So I'm
Right.
excited. I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about having Dick's involved. Dick's Sporting Good Foundation has committed a $2 million matching grant towards our project. Also, we had our announcement a couple weeks ago at the center where that was announced, the $2 million gift, but also Under Armour.
Right.
Came in
Exactly.
at another gift to match to go towards that match at $250,000. And it was great to have Under Armour involved because not only did they present a check, but they also gave out swag gear to the kids. So of course the kids love that.
Oh yeah.
Kids receive 2 pair of shoes, tennis shoes, and some turf shoes, t-shirts, pants, gloves, bats. It was great, man. And
That's awesome.
yeah,
I can
you want to
imagine the
see
look
that
on
because
their
this was
faces
all.
when they got their swag bags.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about is the kids, right? And they really enjoyed it. So we had kids from our program, our STEAM program,
Mhm.
which is over at Pittsburgh Classical Academy. Then we had kids from Still Rocks High School to attend. So we're very excited about that. But yeah, man, we're excited about this. This is a 37,000 square foot building. Still in the fundraising stages. We'll be officially announcing our capital campaign early next year. And we're excited about it, man. We're excited to go to that community. We're excited to bring programs to that community. Now, this center field will service the youth, the adults, senior citizens, and our biggest thing is going to be disabled.
Yes. Yes. There's gonna be a Miracle League field, correct?
Yes, yes, and actually not just a Miracle League field, it'd be the first ever indoor Miracle League field.
Wow.
Yes, all
Okay.
the Miracle League fields are outside. This will be the first one that's indoors. And for us, it's great because all the ones that we do have here, of course, they can function during the fall and the winter months. So
Right.
we're looking to have their kids and adults come to our facility in the fall and the winter to participate in activities at our place.
Year round. No rainouts in the spring or summer. I love
There
it.
you go. There you go. and no hot
What else will
and
the
no
center
hot.
yeah. Yeah, Astrodome weather.
There you go.
What else will the center have for the entire community here?
Yeah, yeah. So we're looking to have, of course, the Miracle Field indoors. We're also looking to have a
Mhm.
gym. We're also looking to have an indoor turf field that will
Okay.
focus on baseball training, football training, soccer, volleyball, any kind of sport you want to do. And now, of course, if people ask me to turf, it won't be big enough to have a game. It's more for a training facility, right?
Right. Right.
Computer labs, classrooms, cafeteria. It'll be spaces for parties.
Mhm.
People always ask you when you built a something like this is how are you going to sustain it, right? And so,
Right.
looking to get an urgent care in the building for health reasons, yeah, for medical purposes.
That's
Of course, a
phenomenal.
diner, a cafe.
Yep.
A lot of these kids in that area don't get a chance to have a healthy meal. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we were to
Right.
provide that. And so we're
Right.
very excited about the opportunity and to bring this name. And also too, again, like I was saying to other people, we want to use Josh Gibson's name. We believe that this center with his name on it will bring, when Pirates play maybe the Phillies or St. Louis, I can see players coming over to visit these kids. And just because of the name of Josh Gibson and Dix, you got one of the greatest baseball players of all time, and you got the largest sporting goods company in the world.
Yes, for sure.
So,
Right.
with the name Dix and Josh Gibson, we're hoping to bring some notoriety to the McKees Rocks area and to the surrounding areas of McKinney Township and the other areas around the area, but definitely in that area there was some well-known recognition names coming in to that facility.
That's the best. This is gonna be great. And like you said, no matter who's coming in to play during the regular season, I think this will garner a lot of great attention. And the athletes, front office staff that may come in for games are gonna wanna check this out.
Yeah, I can definitely see there being a tourist destination. The one thing I didn't mention, we're going to have a small museum in there as well.
Okay, good.
It won't focus on all the Negro League players, but it'll mainly focus on the Grays and the Crawfords and the players that played there.
Yep.
'Cause we wanna educate, these kids and the people who come in the community about Josh Gibson and what Josh Gibson stood for. So there will be a small educational component around a small mini museum that'll focus on the Grays and the Crawfords and the players that play for those teams.
I can't wait until it opens. This gonna be great. I
Yeah.
have to apologize because I do wish I was wearing a Grays hat right now, and for this episode, I was online looking for for hats, and then they actually I can't remember which company it is online, but they're selling the Grays hats, but they're fitted, and the largest size isn't gonna fit my head, it's too small. Otherwise, I'd be
Well,
wearing that right now.
we do contracts with lids.
Okay,
We check out lids. We got a new line coming out in February.
nice.
Yeah, we got a new line coming out in February, so maybe you can wait till then. But we do all our contracts is with lids and
Okay,
Ebbsfields through merchandise like that. So yeah. But I
good.
will say this, that's the University of Penn hat, right?
It is UPenn, correct.
Okay, well, my one of my employees, Michael Morris, he's a UPenn grad.
Alright,
He's my program coordinator. Michael went to Winchester Thurston. He played football at UPenn. And
okay.
so he'll be happy to know that. Yeah.
I have a neighbor who lives up the street from me, Brian Keys. He played football at UPenn.
So wait, Brian's your neighbor?
Yes, he is.
Tell
Yes, a
Brian,
great neighbor, great guy. Love that guy. Love the
okay.
family. They're wonderful people.
I didn't know you lived that close to bro. Well, Brian's my fraternity brother.
Yes,
I know
yes.
Brian very well.
I'll make sure that he gets a hold of this episode. He and Kim, there's no question.
Yes.
And then their daughter graduated with my son Brandon from here at Moon Area High School.
Okay. Okay.
So they're wonderful people,
I didn't know y'all was that close. I didn't know that's funny. You said that. A small world. Yeah,
Yes,
small
it
world.
is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. So something exciting to talk about here, Sean, is the incorporation of the statistics of the Negro League players into the Major League Baseball statistics.
Yeah.
And I've read your great grandfather's stats before, but I was checking them out again. And the one thing I noticed right away is just the number of games that, were maybe played at that time period, but also for what information we have, the number of at bats were, pretty much minimal compared to what you see with a traditional Major League Baseball season.
Mhm.
But, I saw that he had 2 seasons where he had 20 home runs. And if that's that equivalent of a Major League season, that gets him just on average 43 home runs a season.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a season or two where, that's going to be pushing 60. So do you want to talk a little bit about the importance of having these statistics incorporated?
Oh yeah, man, it's very important. So for people who don't know, back in May of last year, 2024, Major League Baseball made the big announcements for finally. And I use the word finally because they made the announcement in 2020, right?
Hmm.
And it took 4 years after that, and they made the announcement to finally integrate Negro League stats in May 29, 2024. And so what that did was it took Josh Gibson's stats into another level. Right now, Josh is, I want to say, top in 6 categories: single season batting average, rare batting average, OPS batting average, slugging percentage batting average. And it just took his stats to another level. But also not just Josh, all the other great Negro League baseball players that
Right,
played in the Negro Leagues as well.
right.
It was a great day for the Gibson family as well as the other families in the Negro League to see this finally happen. I'll say this, Phil, when you're talking about history, it's always a right or wrong, but some people love it and some people's not going to love it, right?
Sure,
Remember when this
right.
came out, it was a whole thing about, well, they didn't play in the majors and the stats. And I want to say this, right? This was something that didn't happen overnight. Um, this thing been going, this research of the Negro League stats has been going over 15 years. Gary Ashwell, Josh Simkis and his team put together some great statistics over 15 years of research, and their company is called Seamheads, and that's
Hmm.
the official database of the Negro Leagues. And
Okay, yes, right.
I think people assume that Major League Baseball made this announcement, just threw these numbers together, and
No, no.
there's a lot of history behind it. So we're very excited about it, man. And now, like I said, it's great for the Gibson family and all the other families.
And if he would have been playing, or the Crawfords, the Grays would have been playing, I know they play a lot of he played a lot of his home games at Forbes Field.
Yes.
Okay. the dimensions and the height of the walls were very, very high.
Mhm.
And these weren't, your cookie cutter dimensions, your symmetrical, 335, 375, 400. Imagine if he was playing at a ballpark like, well, cookie cutter stadium like Three Rivers
Yeah.
or the Vet, Riverfront, Bush Stadium, how many home runs he actually would have had.
Oh, you hit it right there. I mean, you talking about Forest Field, I think it was 475, the one side of the wall.
Yep,
I mean,
yep,
we're looking at monster home runs. And a lot of Josh gets his home runs over 500 feet.
yeah,
So, you can imagine if he was playing at PNC Park, hitting those balls in the river, right? He'd probably go across the river. But you're right, I mean, and we know times have changed, you know what I mean?
yeah,
The excitement about baseball is home runs and no hitters, right?
yep.
And then of course, you got the cycle and things like that. But yes, you will say you look at some of those ballparks, even Josh is considered hitting the longest home run ball at Yankee Stadium, and that was
Right.
back in the 30s and the 40s, of course, and that was a huge stadium. So
Yes, it was the old Yankee Stadium
yeah, and so
before it
all
was
these
renovated in the
stadiums,
'70s.
right?
Right.
All these stadiums, like you said, they were not cookie cutter stadiums. These were 400, 500 home run walls back then. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Well, that's what happened to Willie Stargell. He played, almost the first half of his career at Forbes Field.
Mhm.
And then when they moved to Three River Stadium in the middle of the 1970 season, you saw an increase in his home run production.
Right.
And had he played his entire career at Three Rivers, just like, Josh,
Yeah.
the number of home runs he would have had,
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and when you talk about that home run greatness, we just did something out there in Monessen, PA, where he hit over 500 some foot home run. They put a marker up there. And you hear
Nice.
these mythical stories about Josh, and you hear stories where he hit a ball in Pittsburgh and it never came down, and they played the game in Philadelphia. And the same umpires was doing a game in Pittsburgh, was doing a game in Philadelphia, and all of a sudden the ball comes out the sky, and the guy catches it. He said, "Hey, Josh, you're out yesterday in Pittsburgh." So you
Well,
hear
it's
those mythical
folklore. It's folklore.
stories.
It's great. These are great stories. Absolute
Yeah,
folklore.
yeah, you hear these mythical stories, but that all to me, when you hear those mythical stories, it all just tells you the greatness. This is about Josh home run greatness, right?
Right.
And he was always compared. Like people would say, "Well, with Josh Gibson, he's the black Babe Ruth." I'm like, "No, Babe Ruth is the white Josh Gibson." And Brent Stevens, who's Babe Ruth's great grandson, we're best friends. We're great friends.
Okay. Nice.
We go back and forth all the time on that. And I tell him, I said, "Listen, man, one thing I got over you is that, and everybody says this, Josh Gibson hit the longest ball in Yankee Stadium. And supposedly at the Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built." And I said, "Well, your grandfather let me got that record. Josh came in and took that record from your grandfather." So
Exactly.
we go back and forth. We have fun with those type of jokes, though.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He was a right-handed hitter, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. And he threw righty, right?
Yes.
And his primary position was catcher.
Catcher. Yep. And as you
Oh,
know, Phil, that's the hardest in my estimation. That's the hardest position in baseball.
it is for sure.
And
You
that
know,
wear and tear for him to still dominate the game at that magnitude as a catcher, that just tell you right there.
well, you see a lot of catchers towards the end of their career, they end up becoming first baseman.
Mhm.
Or if they're, well, now the entire league is designated hitter, um, but when they incorporated the designated hitting rule in, I think, 1973 in the American League, like say Thurman Munson, for example, was not in that plane crash and was playing in through at least the mid 1980s, he would have been playing either first base or he would have been a DH,
For
you
sure.
know, and I'm just thinking of him as an example. I think Manny
Yeah.
Sanguin played some first base
Yeah.
towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's hard on the knees. And they're calling a game. They're the ones with the signals for what type of pitch to throw. So and it's the battery, the pitcher
Mhm.
catcher battery. The pretty much being like a field captain almost, being responsible for, what happens in a baseball game in the catcher position.
True.
And yeah, you're right. I'm just, pondering it now in my mind, just how amazing of a player he was and how strong he was. He
Yeah.
was one, it wasn't like he was Aaron. How tall was Aaron Judge? 6'6", 6'7"?
6'7". Look at Paul
Right.
Skeens. He's like 6'6", 6'7".
Right, right. But your great grandfather was 6'1",
He was 6'1",
which is
about
tall,
215,
but
but he was solid though. I mean, if you look at some of
yeah.
his pictures, his forearms, it was huge, right? And my grandfather, Josh Gibson Jr., used to always, he had this slogan. He was like, no steroids, just milk. You know what I mean? And yeah, he from Buena Vista, Georgia in the country,
Mhm.
moved to Pittsburgh when they were around 11 years old and grew up on the north side. Um, went to public school, went to Conroy, Allegheny School, never finished high school, but started playing baseball at a very early age.
Right.
It was just some guys was naturally strong and he can hit that ball a mile, man. And
It's
people
amazing.
always say to me, I wish I could have seen him play. And I say, me too.
Right.
And I say,
Oh,
me
of course.
too.
Well, I told you this on the phone a couple weeks ago. At my age, yes, I play MLB The Show, sometimes. And I've had games where I was playing in the Negro Leagues, and then I've had, you know, doing the home run hitters contest, had Josh,
Hmm.
and and these games don't lie. I mean, they really have the projection of who he was.
Yep.
His towering shots in a home run hitting contest, they're fun. The crack of the bat, you name it. And I guess I don't know if you know this, but what did he have like a Roberto Clemente type of bat whenever he played back in the day?
You mean the size or
Yeah, yeah, the size and the weight of that bat.
you hit a big bat. I mean, if you go, have you been you've been in the House History Center, right?
You know what? I have to admit, I've never been there.
Wow. Well, they have a replica bat of Josh. So they have like
Okay,
Josh, Roberto, Willie Stargell, Manny Sanguine. They have all their replica bats and the sizes of them. This big. Yeah, this is big bat.
sure.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I always knew that Clemente had a big bat because you can see it in any highlights that you watch of him,
Right.
And the one that stands out for me is the 1971 All-Star game in Detroit,
Hmm.
where he launches one right center into the upper decks. And I don't know how far that home run was, but that's straightaway center at Tiger Stadium back then was 440.
Yeah.
And so his home run had to have been at least 460 or more, you
Easy.
know.
Yeah.
But when you watch that highlight and they show it in slow motion, I'm looking at not just his stance and his swing, but that size of the bat that he has.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked that question about Josh's bat,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
those guys back then, they used the big bats. There's, nothing
Yeah.
nothing specialized.
They didn't have those torpedo bats. So
No, no, not at all. This is just such good stuff. This is great stuff. Okay, what do you see will take place with the center when it opens? It's gonna open next year, right?
we hope so. I mean, hopefully your listeners can donate a lot of money.
Well, exactly,
But no,
exactly.
we're looking at, we got a projection. Like I said, we don't start a capital campaign till next year.
Right,
So we still got some money to raise. Hopefully soon though. I mean, we don't want to be out there long, but I don't want to give a prediction because if you give a prediction, people are gonna hold you to that. So,
right.
but we're hoping soon. We're hoping soon.
I hope so too. And I'm so glad you're able to come on to this podcast because my message is take a look at the center and whatever you're able to give, please do so.
Yeah, they can go to our
That's
website.
anyone.
Yeah,
What's that?
they can go to our website, which is joshgibson.org. Scroll down and you'll see the landing page for the Dick's Josh Gibson Center. And you can, be a volunteer. And I will say this, Phil, when people ask for support is not always financially, right? Support can mean volunteer support. It can
Right.
mean, guess it can mean financially, but it can also mean other things. I think sometimes when people say support, they think of financially. There's other ways to give support
Giving your
than
time,
financially. Like your
giving your time
time,
to the center.
volunteer,
Right.
sources, connections, coming out to see kids. So it's a lot of way you can support the organization and support the cause.
Well, then there'll be some merch there too,
We'll definitely be
correct?
some merch.
Yeah. So go
we'll
and
be
buy
we'll
some
be
merch.
we'll be partnering with Dick's on merch. So
Yeah. So there'll be a lot of merchandise, a lot of
yes,
clothing, hats to purchase. And it's really exciting for the area too. For the McKees Rocks area, the city of Pittsburgh, like you said, Kennedy Township. And I'm a Montour grad. My grandfather was on the borough council in the 1930s in McKees Rocks. So it hits home. It
yeah.
really truly hits home for us, the Clark family.
Well, Well, also too, like you said, it'll be housed in McKees Rocks. It's not just for McKees Rocks residents. Of
No,
course, it'll be their own, but the whole surrounding area. I mean, we want kids from across the bridge, from the city to come across the McKees Rocks Bridge. Like you said, Kennedy Township, Moon Township, Robinson Township, our whole area.
exactly. Exactly.
We want to serve all these adults, seniors, youth, and disabled all around. And
Right.
it just so happened it's in McKees Rocks,
Uh-huh.
a place that, right now, Phil, they have no community center in McKees Rocks.
Right.
The
Yes.
Boys and Girls Club was the community center, and that shut down during the pandemic. So you feel over 5 years they haven't had a community center.
That's a
But what the
shame.
Boys and Girls Club did, they did take their programming and moved it into in-school programming. So they're providing the same type of program they were providing the Boys and Girls Club. They're just doing it at the McKees Rock. I mean, at Still Rocks High School. But still, though,
Yeah.
you want your own facility, and we're excited about it, man. The goal is that, and it happened when we had this announcement. I had a lot of people reach out to me that either attended the Boys and Girls Club or their kids attended the Boys and Girls Club, excited about this project, want to know how they can help out with the project. So I think that was the one thing that was really gratifying is that you had former people who attended or their kids attended or grew up in McKees Rocks and want to see something good for the area and reached out to us, see how they can help.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait for it to all come to fruition. And I know you can't wait for it to come to fruition, and so many other people too. And my brother Greg's involved, you know,
That's right.
um, as township
We'll,
manager
we'll
in
we'll be
Kennedy.
meeting with Greg soon, so it's a
Boy,
small world that you guys are brothers.
exactly.
That's Pittsburgh for you, right? So
It is. It is. It's usually 6 degrees of separation, but I think in Pittsburgh it's 3.
yeah, I would definitely say 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause you
absolutely.
mentioned Eric's name to me, so Eric's a great guy too.
Eric Rodenberg,
Yeah,
yes. Tommy Larkin,
yep, yep,
JJ Richards. We have a
all
lot of
my
the same.
friends.
Yep, all great people, all great people. So, any closing thoughts here, Sean?
Yeah, no, I just wanna say, hey, again, man, thanks again for having me.
Right?
Just wanna educate your audience on Josh Gibson, the importance that he brought to African Americans, but to Americans, and
To
also
everybody.
the importance of what he did in baseball, and
Right,
not just in the Negro League baseball, in baseball in general. Because I
right,
think sometimes when you talk about the Negro Leagues, it's identified as just African Americans only, right? And yes, we know he's African American, of course, and he played in the Negro Leagues, of course, but it's not just about that. Everybody can be educated, no matter what race you are, about these
right,
great players, and also respect the game of baseball, whether he played in the Negro Leagues or Major Leagues.
right,
And again, I tell people all the time, Phil, it wasn't Josh Gibson's decision just to play, not to play in the majors. You know, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who was the commissioner at the time, denied over 3,400 African Americans the opportunity to play in the majors.
right.
And so, these guys would love to play in the majors, but give credit to Ruth Foster, who was
Mhm.
the mastermind and said, okay, well, if we can't join them, we'll beat them and I'll start my own league. And I give Ruth Foster a lot of credit because in 1920, if it wasn't for Ruth Foster, there would be no Josh Gibson.
Right. No cool Papa Bell.
No Cool Papa Bell, no Satchel Paige, no Buck Leonard, no Turkey Stearns, Bullet
Right,
Brogan, all the great names.
right.
And he was the mastermind to say, hey, okay, well, if they won't let us play with them, we'll have our own league.
Well, another thing that stands out, I was just, reading about, when Josh passed away
Hmm.
was early 1947, and that's the same year that Jackie Robinson signed his contract to play for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
very significant,
it's very significant because just a few months, Josh died January 20th of 1947, and
right?
Jackie got called up that spring of '47, not too long after he passed. And
Right.
so, yeah, who knows? What I mean? You can always speculate, Josh would have did this in the majors. But I know one thing, we all know Satchel Paige went to the majors at a very old age and did great.
Yes, he did.
And
Would
I
you
tell
wanna
people
face
all the
him?
time, that tells you the talent of the Negro League because if they didn't play in their prime, who knows what would have happened
He
back
was
then.
pitching into his 50s. Would you have wanted to face him at,
Right.
say, the age of 25
Exactly.
and he's blowing you away with massive fastball that he had?
Exactly. I just tell you the talent. And when I say that is because it's not just Satch, Larry Doby, and Roy Campanella, all those guys, even Hank Aaron and Willie Mays came from the Negro Leagues.
Yeah, right,
So those
right.
guys were MVPs and Hall of Famers. And so,
Yeah,
but you got to look at the talent. You know what I mean? Like you said, Major League Baseball got some of this talent on the back end of these guys' career, right? This is imagine if we
absolutely.
got them in their prime. Oh my God, it'd have been crazy.
I have, Hank Aaron's jersey from the '74 season when he, broke the record,
Wow. Okay.
the navy blue jersey they wore in the
Yep.
road.
Yep.
And I also have Willie Mays' New York Giants jersey, the
Mm.
away jersey. And of course, I have a Clemente jerseys. I like all these collectibles, and I need to get some Josh Gibson merch. There's no question
Well, we
about
got some new merch. Like I said, we got some new merch coming out in February.
it.
So
Good, good. Well, I'll tell you what, Sean, I know you're a very, very busy gentleman. You're doing great, great work, for the entire community here, and also making sure that your great grandfather's name always stands out as it should. And all this history needs to be, known by everybody, really.
yeah,
Doesn't have to be a baseball fan, the casual
right.
baseball fan. So I just want to thank you for coming on. It's greatly appreciated. And I know that you and I will be in touch, and I'll be at the center. I'm looking forward to everything that comes out of this.
Well, thanks again for having me. And like I said, for your listeners, anything you want to know about the foundation, joshgibson.org is our website.
And I'll have that all on the when it's posted on YouTube. I'll be able to put links on. I'll put it on my Facebook, put the links on, tag you, you know, and we'll make this known.
Great. Thanks, Phil.
All right. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. And we will be in touch. Thank you so much.
And happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Take care now.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye bye.